No, you're playing the game on the controller that you started playing.
Okay. Because I think that's important too. What you plan to play on the controller with,
and that's why the console wars, like I said, even if Microsoft does what they do, they won't be able to win because Sony has a market hold. They got a hold over just a huge market share. People are going to buy that controller. They're going to buy those systems. They're going to buy God of War. They're going to buy The Last of Us. They're going to buy Uncharted. They're going to buy, you know, all of those Sony exclusives. And if I had to choose between, The Last of Us 3 is coming out on Xbox and on the Series X, you know, it's running 120, 60.
60 frames.
Yeah, like it's 4K, 4K. You know, it's just blowing the PlayStation version out the water, man. It's just blowing out. I don't see the PlayStation gamers hopping over to that Xbox version. You know what? We'll take our 1080 over here. We'll take our 1080 over here on our PlayStation.
We'll take a 1080p.
We're gonna make it happen.
Wait a minute.
That good old 1080p.
Because if it was the Xbox, I'm gonna do the same thing. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm over there defending the Series S games, and I'm like, he looks
like Halo. When I'm playing Halo, I would never play Halo with a PlayStation controller. Never. No. Right, but for somebody that never played Halo with Xbox controller, they're not experiencing a new experience by playing it for the first time on PlayStation because they're just going to be used to the PlayStation controller. Because I can guarantee you, if Halo was on PlayStation and they allow everybody to cross play online, they're not going to be like, I can't really get with the shooter. If you can play Call of Duty with a PlayStation 5, you can play Halo. Yeah, I don't think. No, I think our generation is completely different because now you got these, you got these mods with. I can take my Xbox controller and plug it up with an adapter and plug it into a PlayStation controller. I think that. Like now, because we have that, because I'm thinking from the perspective of we didn't have that. You couldn't take a PlayStation controller and plug it into an Xbox, but you had that feel of that Xbox controller with that trigger. PlayStation controller don't have that. They have that soft, whatever.
What do you mean by that?
But I'm not trying to downplay the controller, but it is not beneficial for shooters. Like Call of Duty, I played it on Xbox. Yeah. Like action adventure games, I played it on PlayStation because of how it feels and where the buttons was. I think the D-pad is a little bit, like the trigger.
American trigger, man.
What do you all think is the best controller ever? Up until today, what do you think is the best controller ever? Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo controller? Super Nintendo.
Sega Genesis, when I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this.
And
probably a Super Nintendo because it's simple and it get the job done.
Yeah,
you could probably use a Super Nintendo controller to play nowadays games.
It it fits in your hand perfect. It's not nothing in a way. I think the analog is just for those action adventure games where you need it. But like even the PS1, like Resident Evil, amazing. I think the best controller ever, up until today is Super Nintendo controller and the PlayStation 1 controller. Yeah, I would agree. I would say those are
PlayStation 1 brick.
PlayStation 1 controller. Man.
Cement block.
I would say the first slim version of the first Xbox controller, not the big big one.
I remember.
The first slim one that they brought out with, that controller was like it was perfect. For that time, it was perfect. The N64 controller, the Dreamcast controller, I felt like those controllers were trying to do something different with the memory cards, expansion packs. I didn't really feel that.
You're talking about the Xbox controller they came out on the original Xbox right before 360.
Right before 360.
They had the big one for a while.
After they had the big one, that was like, damn, this is perfect. Nice.
And then the 360 one kind of got a little weird. It had like a little bit too much extra.
Yeah.
But the first one was
because it had that dumb battery sitting in the middle.
Yeah. But that first one was nice.
It was wireless, right?
Oh, of
course it was wireless.
Oh, yeah, man.
So what do you all think is... Well, I'll ask it like this. What do you all think is hands down the top 3 best features that a controller must have? Do you think the mic in the controller is good? Do you think it being able to breathe? Because that goes to my next question about, because controller matters, right? That really determines where you're going to play. PlayStation is talking about releasing more cooling and heating controllers for more specifically for people that play in tournaments. So if they're able to adjust. Now they had cooling and heating controllers before, but these are going to be adjust like from what I'm reading on the internet, they'll be able to adjust automatically based on the button input. So they feel like if you have more heavy button input, like if you're playing a fighting game, it'll kind of cool up. But then once it's see that your button input slowed down, it kind of warms up or whatever. Or in some cases, they're saying it may determine the temperature in the room. Because I remember how you were saying when you play in tournaments, you don't want your hands to be cold when you're playing in tournaments. Mm-hmm. That's not a good thing when it comes to competition. Mm-hmm. But do you think that's a good idea? So like, again, I'm getting way off, but what do you think are the top 3 features controllers should have?
I think now, because I was playing, when I was playing Last of Us 2, like Last of Us 2, and I forgot another game I was playing, but you can hear the conversation come through the controller, like as you're playing, or you hear some of the monsters in the background, like breathing, but the breathing sound is coming through the controller, not necessarily the TV. So it kind of add to the dynamic of the background and the foreground music. And it made it a little bit more like weird, like as you play the game, and it's like, even when you're talking with somebody on a walkie-talkie in the game, you hear their voices coming out of a controller instead of the TV. Amazing.